So I want you to. So it's good and bad. It's a mixed bag right here. He says, "Look, you're a beautiful woman." At least he recognizes that. You know what I mean? He
Okay.
recognizes this is why it's a beautiful woman.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Some of us brothers need to be able to, but we ought not to just say it when we're in trouble now.
Right.
Now that he's anxious that something bad might
Might
happen,
happen.
he begins to recognize his wife's beauty.
Yes.
We ought to be able to recognize it when everything is going fine. So he recognizes the fact that you're a beautiful woman. And he says, listen here, the Egyptians, I'm not sure. They might look at you and decide, oh, we want her.
So we'll get
And
rid of
they'll
him.
say, yeah, we get rid of him. So when you get there, say that you are my sister. And instead of me experiencing something bad, they might show me favor on account of you. They might say, oh, that's a brother. If we treat him good, we could get the sister. So that's his rationale.
That's his
here.
rationale, sure.
Okay. So it seems to me here that Abraham is in a faith crisis. And I want to talk about that for a minute. He's in a faith crisis. And the reason I say that is that this is a man who just had a promise from God not long ago that says, listen, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make you great, right? I'm going to make you into a great nation. And I am going to bless those who bless you, and I'm going to curse those who curse you. I'm going to make you a blessing. All right. So he got this word from God. Then a famine arises in the land, and he leaves the land. And then now, not only does he leave the land, but he's going down and he's telling what amounts to a lie so that he can, because he's afraid.
Right. So the famine may have caused the crisis. Could it have been that because of the famine, he's beginning now to even question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The famine somehow, was the catalyst for this faith crisis.
Which is how we do.
Yeah. It was the catalyst for faith crisis. So now the famine takes place. He leaves the land. He goes to Egypt, and is on his way to Egypt. He's having fear.
Yes.
He's anxious. He's experiencing anxiety. What is going to happen when I get there? They might decide to kill me. So wait a minute, Abraham. Remember, God says, I'm going to bless you. I'm going to make you a great nation. If they kill you, that ain't going to happen.
In times of trouble,
there you go.
we forget.
We forget. Say it again.
In times of trouble, we forget.
That's right. That's right. When things are going good, we say, oh, yeah, God is good. But as soon as trouble, we forget all that God has said, all that God has done.
Yes.
And this is what's happening with Abram. He forgot that. Now he's scared. He's thinking he's going to die, that the Egyptians are going to kill him. Now, listen here. If God said, I'm going to make you into a great nation, I don't even have a child as yet. Can nobody kill me until that happens. Okay? Because God said it. But like you said, we forget. Because there's a real enemy. And the enemy works with circumstances to cause us
to have doubt,
to take our eyes off of God, to forget what God has said to us. And then we get so focused on the problem, right? We forget the promise. I want to say that again. We get so focused on the problem, we forget the promise.
Yes.
Right? And there's some of us right there today. We forget the promise that God has made to us because the problem is looming so big in our eyes that we cannot see the promise. Right? And so I want to encourage you right now to put your eyes back on Jesus.
Yes.
Focus on him. See what God has said to you, what he is saying to you, what he plans for you, and stop looking at the problem. So what we find Abraham doing is he's encouraging his wife to misrepresent the truth in order for him to survive in Egypt.
And this is his wife.
And this is
wife. This is deep.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. You want to talk about that?
That's what I'm thinking. That this is his wife. This is something deep that he's asking her to do. And there's still some obedience in her and trusting him.
Yes.
She's trusting him and he's not trusting.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right. But remember, God spoke to him. God spoke to him. So he has the plan. He knows the plan. He took her because God told him to take her. He has the plan. And there's a lesson in that because God didn't speak to them. He spoke to him.
But she's trusting in him. And at this point, this can't appear to be right to her. There has to be some question in her mind as well. But still, in her obedience to him,
Yes.
she goes with it.
So here's what I'm thinking. Whenever we find ourselves as believers in a situation where we have to lie about our identity,
Mm.
then there's something wrong. It ought to be a signal to us. It ought to be a
Mhm.
warning. Something is happening. I'm not in the right place.
Mhm.
If I've got to lie about who I am,
Yeah.
then I ought to question where I am.
Yes, indeed. Now you're onto something right there, because when you talk about lying about your identity, doesn't necessarily mean a particular relationship, but who you are, even when you meet certain people.
Yes.
You're a believer, but you're pretending not to be a believer. You're not a
Correct.
believer, but you're pretending to be a believer. There's so much in us, the representative is what we call it. So anytime we're in a relationship that would cause us to compromise who we really are, no matter what type of relationship it is, we need to take a second look at it.
We do. We have to ask ourselves, if I cannot acknowledge who I am,
Mm-hmm.
then I need to question where I am.
Yes.
And so Abraham, that ought to be a cue for him.
Right
Abraham,
there.
right now, your question, you have to misrepresent who you are. You have to misrepresent who you are because of where you are. And if you're asking, why am I doing this? Then you would realize you are not where God has
Yes.
sent you to be.
There you are.
You are in
There
a
you go.
different place than where you're supposed to be right now. And that is why you have to lie about who you are. There are so many people.
Yes.
There's so many of us. I could think of my own experience of not being able to be honest about who I am because of my own issues.
Mm-hmm.
And not ready to deal with my issues, and had to come to God and say, God, help me to acknowledge who I am
Yes.
and deal with who I
Mhm.
am. And if I don't like who I am or have issues with who I am, then I need you to fix who I am so that I can embrace who I am.
To be confident. And I'm dealing with a particular situation where with some old friends, and we want to go to a particular party, which is just not where I am in my life.
Right.
And so it did take courage. It takes courage for us to say, that's just not where I am.
Right.
I love you. You're my friend. I want to spend time with you guys, but that's just not a part of my life. And oftentimes we don't have the courage to say no. We allow people pleasing
Yes.
to get us into compromising situations
Uh-huh.
where we not only lie about who we are, but then it would cause us to begin to compromise who we are, where we're going, and
Yeah.
it doesn't even allow us to operate in the way that God would have us to. And that's some of the things that bring on some of these hard times.
Yes.
As
Yes.
God is trying to make us and mold us and shape us.
Yes.
Because we're not as clay-like as we should be, especially when there are things, external forces that can distract us.
Absolutely. And like you say, it brings on some things. They are self-inflicted wounds because we put ourselves in situations, then we have to misrepresent who we are, and then we find ourselves feeling guilty about what we've done, and these self-inflicted wounds. As a matter of fact, when you read that story, and we don't have all the time today to do that, but the Egyptians, when he said that that's my sister, they said, oh, we could take her to be, so Pharaoh took her
Yes.
so that he can, take her as his wife.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And God then dealt with Pharaoh because, and Pharaoh
So
said,
much so that Pharaoh said, take your wife back.
And get out of here.
And get out, take your wife and everything and
And
get out of here. Right.
because you are causing me problems.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So he now he had to leave where he was and go right back to the land.
Mm-hmm. And
Then he
Pharaoh
left.
did ask, why did you tell me that this was your sister?
Yeah.
Why did you misrepresent this?
And
And he recognized it was bringing problems in
it
his
was
life.
bringing problems.
Pharaoh recognized, hold it, something's going on here. Something's not right.
Absolutely. Is that amazing that not only when we messing up like that, when we in the wrong place,
That's right.
when we are misrepresenting who we're supposed to be and so on, then not only do we bring stuff on ourselves, but sometimes affect the
Others
people
are
we're
affected.
with.
That's right.
Others are affected by what we do. Think about Jonah in that boat. Others
Mhm.
are affected
Mhm.
by what he did. And so we have to really think in terms of who we are and what we're doing. So he leaves the land and he goes right back
Mhm.
to where he started.
Right.
He goes right back, you know,
To the very place.
to the very place where he left in order to escape the famine.
Mhm.
He goes right back there. But here's the thing. Through it all, God blessed him,
Yes.
because the Bible says by the time he goes back to the land of promise, he's got
He's got
so
it
much
all.
stuff.
That's right.
And not only does he have so much stuff, but Lot, who went with him, is blessed as well.
Right. So much so now they can't live together.
They can't live together. And I find that to be I
Right.
find that to be fascinating.
So much so now they can't live
Because
together.
Lot goes with him,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Lot follows him. When God told him to leave the land, God says, I'm going with you.
Mhm.
And because Lot went with Abram, Lot was blessed.
Yes.
You know, so there are people who get blessed because of their association
Yes.
with those of us who have been blessed. And I say to my kids all the time, you blessed because I'm blessed. You know what I mean? You're
Mhm.
blessed to have a blessed father. And therefore that blessing flows to you.
Mhm.
You know,
As
we
God
have
said in
people
the
in
beginning
lives.
to Abraham, I'm going to bless those that bless
I'm
you.
going to bless those that bless you.
Mhm.
So the reality is that Lot was blessed as a result of Abraham. But Lot, instead of recognizing his blessing came from his association with Abram, you know, he decided,
Is that so human? Is that what we do?
yeah, he
Mhm.
decided to be insensitive to the issues, his behavior, how it's impacted Abram, so that Abram had to say, look, man, I don't want any fight with you. I don't want any quarrel with you.
Mhm.
If you go to the left, I'm going to right. If you go to the right, I'm going to the left. Let's just separate so we can have peace and harmony.
And that blessed me that Abram said, hey, let there be no quarreling between us.
Yes.
It also blessed me that Abram said, which side you want? Whichever side you want, I'll just take the
Yeah.
other side. And that's something that you don't find, I don't think, enough of in families and in relationships, where someone just steps up and says, taking everything aside, I don't want to fight with you. So you want the left side, I'll take the right. You want the right side, I'll take the left. I'll back off because the relationship is so important that I don't want to damage it.
But it's a humble position to take.
Yes, it
especially
is.
when you know.
And that's what blessed me.
When you know I'm the one that was called by God,
Yeah.
not you.
Mhm.
I'm the one that has caused you to be the way that you were blessed. I'm the one that caused it. I'm the one that gave to you. I'm the one that, because you've been with me, you have prospered because you've been with me. You've attached yourself to me, and the blessing that I have received have now trickled down to you.
Right.
And
But
now,
he didn't have a need to say it.
yeah, but and now, you know, I'm the one should be saying, okay, I'll be here. You could go wherever you want, but I'm going to take the humble position.
Yes, indeed.
And I am, you know, I have this little thing as we close that I always say, that the burden is on the enlightened one
Yes, I get
to
that.
have the appropriate response.
Mhm.
So if both of us are in a disagreement and we cannot resolve the situation, the burden is on the enlightened party. If somebody needs to ask for forgiveness, the burden is on the enlightened party.
Well, one of the things we want to leave everyone with is that Abram was blessed because of his decision. Because once Lot had left,
Yes.
God said, okay,
And that's where,
the world is yours.
yes, absolutely.